Stu, happy summer. I just want to start off with the question: Is it a happy summer at this point? What are sales telling you? What are customers telling you?
Well, first of all, hi, Carol and Tim. How you doing? First of all, the thing that would make me happier if you didn't talk about all the rain and everything that's supposed to happen this morning. That doesn't help our sales. We want everybody to go out and barbecue and cook cheeseburgers out in their backyard. No, but I would say right now, sales are brisk. Customers are buying, but they're also complaining. Okay, they're complaining about the prices of food right now. And not only just food, but I think their overall, expenses in their normal lives. Like as an example, the other morning, I got a phone call from our tomato farmer in Florida. He said, I got some bad news. He said, we had a big freeze down here. I had to replant my crop. Tomato prices are going to be up. And it's going to cost me $2,000 more to send a tractor trailer truck from Florida up to the New York area to your stores. And then I come down here in the store and I'm talking to a customer that just said, hey, I just went and filled up my Suburban and that cost me $50 more. And my energy costs at home, insurance, everything. So I'm stuck in the middle a little bit. On one hand, I got to negotiate with this farmer, which I did, and we're going to split the cost, but I can't raise prices. So our prices at Stew's compared to last Memorial Day are probably up about 3%. They'd only be up like 1% if it wasn't for meat, And you asked me about some props earlier, but, here's one of our great.
Tomahawk.
This is what, if you could put this on the grill this weekend, for Memorial Day, it's a crowd pleaser.
But Stu, it would be, but that's going to set you back. I mean, you're talking about a very expensive cut of meat there. And you mentioned cheeseburgers earlier. Mike McKee talking to us a little earlier. And he said, at some places they're charging you just for walking by the meat department. That's how expensive it's gotten.
But one thing people are doing is they're switching from their proteins. Like, that's obviously the most expensive thing you can buy is a big ribeye steak. But then you can also go down to just getting some plain hamburgers. So you notice people switching a little bit. They're going to chicken. That's only in the $4 to $5 a pound range right now. They're going to pork. I've even been doing that. Instead of having a steak, get a nice pork chop, and it's like $10 a pound less. So
how much is that tomahawk that you held up per pound?
Oh gosh, I bet you this will be about $70.
Okay,
to get this. But hey, if you went to a restaurant and you ever ordered something like this, you'd be paying $150 or at least double or more for that thing. So
how many people can eat that chop?
Well, how much would I eat?
I know my husband be like, that's mine, but I'm just saying 2 or 3 people could probably chop into that, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. It really depends. I mean, who's a big meat eater? Your husband probably would love to devour. I got a son-in-law who loves meat all the time, and he could make a big dent in that thing. So, right now you're seeing people really just trying to save money. But you know what? The thing with meat right now is we're at a 50-year low in herd price sizes in America. We just had some of our ranchers back from the Midwest, and they're really just saying there's just less cattle. And why is that? Because, it costs them a lot of money to feed them. Because of the droughts and everything that happened in the Midwest, and there's not as much, grass out in the fields for the cattle to eat. They got to import the corn and the soy and alfalfa for the cattle to eat. So,
Stu, that was a problem. I feel like last year too. Like we've been talking about the herd situation for a while. Is that, as you talk to the ranchers, any of that going to get better or easier or no?
It's getting better now, but it takes 2 years to really grow a little calf from like 300-400 pounds when they're born, all the way up to maybe 1,600 pounds when they're harvested. So it takes time, but you're seeing it build right now. It is growing, and that's why I'm optimistic about a couple things. One of them is I do think meat prices are going to be coming down in the future. Even our ranchers and everything agree with that. And the second thing, I really think fuel prices are going to come down once we get things straightened out in the Middle East, which can't be forever. I mean, it's got to be resolved at some point. So I think we're going to see some softening on these inflation numbers as far as food goes in the future. But you know what? Here's what's really interesting, Carol. I think you have to break up this inflation into supply and demand and actual cost. Like from our standpoint, like I'll give you an example. You can go buy this watermelon right here. By the way, watermelons are great right now. They're really sweet. So here's a watermelon. You can go buy that. It's about $6 or $7 at the store. Or you can do this. We can have somebody cut these up. The labor for me to have a nice lady or guy back there cutting these up, it's for us nearly $25 an hour right now without benefits.
And that's never going down.
That's never going down. And so there's a couple things that are not going to go down. Labor's not going to go down. That's inflationary right now. But I think the supply and demand of food, like for instance, I always laughed when I would read about people saying about egg prices. Eggs had nothing to do with inflation.
Right.
That had no government policy or anything. That just had to do with the avian flu. So supply and demand is built in. And if you look, we just had some fires out in Simi Valley. As I mentioned, the cold snap down in Florida.
Right.
So the droughts out. These affect food prices.
Well,